The bridge of the Odyssey thrummed with a quiet symphony of bleeps and hums, the gentle cadence of readouts and sensors casting a soft glow across Maya Jensen's face. Her fingers danced across the holographic controls, inputting the final navigational calculations as the ship prepared to initiate the experimental Singularity drive. "Lieutenant Jensen," the ship's AI chimed in, its voice a warm baritone that had become a constant companion throughout the long months of their voyage. "All systems are green. We are cleared for Singularity drive activation." Maya allowed a faint smile to tug at the corners of her lips. "Acknowledged, Argus. Begin the countdown sequence." A holographic timer materialized before her, the digits ticking down from 60 as the Singularity drive began to hum with escalating intensity. Maya took a deep breath, her eyes fixed on the view screen that displayed the ominous silhouette of their celestial target. A black hole, its event horizon a stark void against the tapestry of distant stars. 30 seconds, Argus announced, the drive's thrum becoming a resonant throb that seemed to permeate the deck plates beneath Maya's feet. Her mind drifted back to the day she had been selected for this historic mission, the culmination of a lifetime's worth of dreams and sacrifices. To be the first human to approach a black hole, to stand at the precipice of the unknown and peer into the abyss. It was an honor that still left her in awe. 10 seconds. Maya's grip tightened on the control yoke, her knuckles whitening with anticipation. The Singularity drive was untested technology, a bold gambit in humanity's quest to unlock the secrets of the cosmos. Failure was not an option. The fate of future interstellar exploration rested on the success of this maiden voyage. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Singularity drive engaged. The ship seemed to lurch forward, and for a heartbeat, Maya felt as though she were being stretched in every direction, her atoms straining against the fabric of reality itself. Then, just as abruptly, the sensation passed, and the Odyssey surged ahead, the stars themselves appearing to blur and bend around them. "Drive is operating within projected parameters," Argus reported, its synthetic voice tinged with what Maya could have sworn was excitement. "We are now traveling at 98% of light speed." Maya's breath caught in her throat as she beheld the view screen, the black hole looming larger with every passing second. Its gravitational pull was already tugging at the Odyssey, distorting the space around them in a way that defied conventional physics. "Incredible," she murmured, her eyes wide with wonder. "We're actually doing it, Argus. We're going to pierce the veil." "Indeed, Lieutenant," the AI responded, its tone almost reverent. "And we are not alone in bearing witness to this historic event." Maya's brow furrowed, but before she could inquire further, Argus continued, "I am detecting an anomalous energy signature, bearing 273 Mach 58. It appears to be emanating from within the event horizon itself." A cold trickle of apprehension wormed its way down Maya's spine. An energy signature within the black hole. "Argus, run a full spectral analysis and confirm your findings." "Analysis already in progress," the AI responded, its voice tinged with a note of concern that Maya had never heard before. "Initial scans indicate the signature is highly coherent and structured, consistent with an artificial origin." Maya's heart began to pound, her palms slick against the controls. "Artificial? You mean intelligent?" "That is one possible interpretation, yes." Argus paused, and Maya could almost sense the AI's processors working overtime to make sense of the anomalous data. "Lieutenant, I am detecting a distinct pattern within the energy signature, almost like a coded transmission." A hushed silence fell over the bridge, punctuated only by the soft bleeps and whirs of the Odyssey's systems. Maya found herself holding her breath, her mind racing to process the implications of Argus's findings. After what felt like an eternity, she finally spoke. "Can you decipher the code, Argus? Determine its origin or intent?" "Working on it now," the AI responded, its usual calm cadence betraying a hint of strain. The encoding is highly complex, unlike anything in our databases. It will take time to properly analyze and... Argus's words were cut short by a sudden violent lurch that sent Maya careening from her chair, her body slamming against the unforgiving deck plates. Alarms blared to life, bathing the bridge in a crimson glow as Argus's voice rose in urgency. "Lieutenant, we are caught in an intense gravitational shear, far exceeding projected models. The Singularity drive is overloading." Maya scrambled to her feet, her heart pounding in her ears as she fought to maintain her balance. The ship shuddered violently, the viewscreen flickering with static as the black hole's distortion field intensified. "Shut down the drive," she barked, gripping the edge of the console for dear life. "Engage emergency thrusters and attempt to break free." "Negative, Lieutenant," Argus responded, its voice strained. "The gravitational forces are too extreme. We are caught in an inescapable decaying orbit around the event horizon. At our current trajectory, we will be consumed within the hour." Maya felt as though the deck had dropped out from beneath her feet. Consumed by the black hole. Her mind reeled, refusing to accept the grim reality that Argus had just laid bare. "No," she whispered, her voice barely audible over the cacophony of alarms. "There has to be a way out. We can't just..." Her words trailed off, her gaze falling upon the Singularity drive controls. A wild, desperate idea began to take shape in her mind, a gambit that might be their only hope for survival. "Argus," she said, her voice steadier than she felt, "can we activate the Singularity drive again? Use its power to slingshot us away from the black hole's gravitational pull?" There was a pause, and for a moment Maya feared the worst, that Argus would deem the maneuver too risky, too far beyond the drive's intended capabilities. But then, the AI's voice cut through the din, resolute and unwavering. "It is our only viable option, Lieutenant. I will divert all available power to the Singularity drive and prepare for a second activation." Another violent shudder rocked the ship, and Maya could feel the Odyssey's hull groaning under the immense strain. "But you should know, the odds of success are minimal. The drive was never meant to operate under these extreme conditions." Maya's jaw clenched, her eyes hardening with determination. "I don't care about the odds, Argus. We're doing this. It's our only chance." She braced herself against the console, her fingers tightening around the control yoke as the Singularity drive's thrum began to build once more. "Then brace yourself, Lieutenant," Argus warned. "This is going to be unconventional." As the countdown initiated, Maya found herself staring into the depths of the black hole, its inky maw seeming to beckon her closer with each passing second. A strange calm washed over her, banishing her fears and doubts to the farthest reaches of her mind. This was her moment, her chance to etch her name into the annals of human exploration. And if fate deemed that she would not survive the attempt, then so be it. But she would not go gently into that endless night. With a roar that drowned out all other sound, the Singularity drive detonated, propelling the Odyssey forward at unimaginable speeds. Maya felt her breath torn from her lungs, her vision blurring as the fabric of reality itself seemed to twist and distort around her. And then, in an instant that stretched into eternity, the blackness consumed her. An endless, suffocating void that pressed in from all sides, smothering Maya's senses until she could no longer tell where the boundaries of her own body ended and the abyss began. She tried to draw breath, but her lungs burned with the vacuum of space, her mind reeling as she grappled with the disorienting absence of up or down, left or right. Was this what it felt like to be dead? To have her atoms scattered across the infinite expanse of the cosmos, adrift in the eternal night? Maya couldn't be certain, but a part of her found a strange comfort in the notion. At least, in the void, she would be reunited with the stardust from which all life had once emerged. But then, like a flickering candle in the depths of an obsidian cave, a faint light began to coalesce before her eyes. At first, Maya thought she might be hallucinating, her oxygen-starved brain conjuring phantasms to stave off the encroaching madness. But the light grew brighter, more insistent, until it bloomed into a kaleidoscope of colors and shapes that defied comprehension. Slowly, agonizingly, Maya became aware of her surroundings once more. The cold bite of the deck plates against her cheek, the acrid tang of scorched electronics stinging her nostrils, the distant wail of emergency klaxons, muffled as though heard from beneath the surface of a turbulent sea. She was alive. Against all odds, she had survived the Singularity Drive's desperate gambit. With a Herculean effort, Maya dragged herself upright, her limbs leaden and uncooperative. The bridge of the Odyssey was a scene of utter devastation, panels and conduits torn asunder, sparks cascading from ruptured power relays. And yet miraculously, the view screen still flickered with life, revealing a vista that stole the breath from Maya's lungs anew. A nebula unlike anything she had ever witnessed stretched out before them, its incandescent clouds of gas and dust swirling in hypnotic patterns that seemed to pulse with an otherworldly radiance. Stars glittered like diamonds scattered across a cosmic canvas, their brilliance outshone only by the kaleidoscopic maelstrom that enveloped the Odyssey. "Argus!" Maya's voice was little more than a hoarse croak, her throat raw from the Singularity Drive's fury. "Where are we?" For a long, agonizing moment, there was no response. Then, like a flickering light in the depths of a tomb, the AI's voice crackled to life, distorted by static, but undeniably present. "Lieutenant Jensen!" Argus's words were punctuated by bursts of interference, the strain on its systems evident. "We have emerged from the black hole's event horizon. Current coordinates unknown." Maya blinked, her mind struggling to process the AI's words. They had emerged from the black hole itself. Impossible. And yet, the evidence was laid out before her, a celestial tapestry woven from the very stuff of creation. "How?" She swallowed hard, her throat burning. "How is this possible, Argus? We should have been crushed, torn apart by the tidal forces." Another burst of static, accompanied by a flicker of the view screen. Maya tensed, fearing the worst, that they had somehow slipped back into the black hole's grasp. But then, Argus's voice cut through the chaos, clearer than before. "I do not have a definitive explanation, Lieutenant. However, my analysis of the Singularity Drive's energy output suggests that we may have—" The AI paused, as though searching for the right words. "We may have punched through into another region of space-time entirely." Maya's brow furrowed, her mind reeling. Another region of space-time? She was no stranger to the mind-bending concepts of modern physics, but this was uncharted territory, even for her. "You're saying we've traveled to another universe, another reality?" She shook her head, her gaze fixed on the swirling nebula beyond the view screen. "That's not possible. Is it?" "Ordinarily, I would agree with your assessment," Argus replied, its voice taking on a contemplative tone. "However, the data I am receiving suggests that we have not merely traversed physical space, but have also undergone a temporal displacement." Maya felt her heart skip a beat. "Temporal displacement? You mean we've traveled through time?" "Affirmative." There was another burst of static, and Maya could have sworn she detected a note of uncertainty in the AI's synthetic tones. Though the precise magnitude of the displacement is still being calculated, initial projections indicate that we may have emerged centuries, perhaps even millennia, into the future of our own timeline. A heavy silence fell over the bridge, punctuated only by the distant crackle of shorting circuits and the ever-present hum of the nebula that now enveloped them. Maya found herself at a loss for words, her mind reeling under the weight of Argus's revelation. They had not only cheated death at the edge of a black hole's event horizon, but had somehow transcended the boundaries of space and time itself. It was a notion so profoundly mind-bending, so utterly at odds with everything she had ever known, that Maya could scarcely begin to process its ramifications. And yet, as her gaze drifted back to the viewscreen, taking in the cosmic splendor that unfolded before them, she found herself overcome with a sense of awe and wonder that dwarfed even her most fanciful dreams of exploration. They were the first. The pioneers who had not only crossed the vast gulfs of interstellar space, but had taken the first tentative steps into the uncharted realms of space-time itself. A realization that should have filled her with trepidation instead kindled a fire within her soul, a burning desire to unravel the mysteries that now lay before them. "Argus," she said at last, her voice steadier than she felt. "Run a full diagnostic on all remaining systems. I want to know our operational capabilities and what resources we have at our disposal." "Acknowledged, Lieutenant," the AI responded, a hint of its usual calm efficiency returning. "However, you should know that our situation is precarious. The Singularity drive is offline, and we have sustained significant damage to our primary power systems." Maya nodded, her jaw set in a grim line. "Understood. Just give me the facts, Argus. We'll figure out our next move from there." As the AI set to work, Maya allowed her gaze to wander once more, taking in the kaleidoscopic tapestry of the nebula that now engulfed them. Somewhere, out there amidst the swirling clouds of stardust, lay the answers she sought. Not just about their extraordinary journey, but about the very nature of reality itself. And she would stop at nothing to unravel those mysteries, no matter how far across the vastness of space and time she had to venture. Because in that moment, Maya Jensen knew, with a certainty that transcended mere intellect or ambition. She was no longer just an explorer, a scout at the vanguard of human discovery. She was a time traveler, a nomad of the cosmos, forging a path into the great unknown that would forever alter the course of human destiny. And the universe, in all its infinite majesty, belonged to her. The hiss of atmospheric regulators filled the bridge as Maya opened the outer airlock, her eyes squinting against the blinding radiance of the nebula that now enveloped the Odyssey. Tendrils of incandescent gas swirled and pulsed just beyond the viewport, casting the interior in an ever-shifting kaleidoscope of colors that danced across the mangled instrument panels and exposed conduits. "Argus," Maya said, her voice muffled by the protective helmet she had donned for the extravehicular excursion. "I'm opening the outer airlock. Give me a visual on the hull integrity and damage assessments." "Acknowledged, Lieutenant." The AI's voice crackled in her earpiece, laced with bursts of static that only seemed to compound the surreal nature of their situation. "Initiating external scanners now." Maya braced herself as the airlock cycled open, the roar of escaping atmosphere momentarily deafening her to all other sound. Then, as the pressure equalized, she found herself adrift in the heart of the nebula, untethered and weightless amidst the cosmic maelstrom. It was a sight unlike anything she had ever witnessed, even during her most vivid imaginings of interstellar exploration. The nebula's billowing clouds of gas and dust seemed to twist and undulate around her, their incandescent hues shifting in a hypnotic dance that defied comprehension. Stars flickered in the distance, their brilliance outshone by the ethereal radiance that now engulfed the Odyssey. "Lieutenant," Argus's voice cut through the silence, tinged with a note of urgency. "I have completed the initial hull scan. The damage is extensive." Maya's heart sank as she maneuvered herself along the Odyssey's scarred and pitted hull, her gloved hands tracing the jagged rents and buckled plating. The Singularity drive's desperate gambit had exacted a heavy toll, one that she was only now beginning to fully comprehend. "Give it to me straight, Argus," she said, her voice tight. "What are we looking at?" There was a pause as though the AI was steeling itself for the grim prognosis. "The Singularity drive itself is offline, likely due to catastrophic overload during our transition." Argus's words were measured, clinical, but Maya could hear the undercurrent of concern woven through their synthetic tones. Primary power systems are at 15% capacity and falling. Life support is holding for now, but without a means to replenish our reserves, we have perhaps a week's worth of air remaining. Maya's grip tightened on the hull's twisted metal, her knuckles whitening beneath her gloves. A week. That was all the time they had before the Odyssey became their tomb, adrift in this otherworldly realm beyond the boundaries of space and time. "What about our communications array?" she asked, her voice strained. "Any chance of hailing Earth, or at least leaving a beacon for potential rescue?" Another pause, this one stretching into an agonizing silence that seemed to last an eternity. "Negative, Lieutenant." Argus's voice was heavy, burdened by the weight of their shared reality. "All long-range communication systems are inoperable. Even if we could broadcast a distress signal, the temporal displacement we have undergone would render it virtually impossible for any transmission to reach our point of origin." Maya felt the air rush from her lungs, her head spinning as the full implications of Argus's words washed over her. They were well and truly alone, cast adrift in the cosmic abyss with no hope of rescue or resupply. It was a scenario she had prepared for, both mentally and through her rigorous training. But no amount of preparation could have girded her for the gut-wrenching realization that they were the first humans to be truly, utterly alone in the vast expanse of the universe. Adrift, abandoned, forgotten by the very species that had sent them forth as beacons of hope and discovery. Maya found herself drifting, her body numb and unresponsive as a maelstrom of emotions threatened to overwhelm her. Fear, despair, anger. They all swirled within her like the nebula's incandescent clouds, choking her with their intensity. How could this be happening? How could a mission that had once symbolized the pinnacle of human achievement have descended into such an unmitigated catastrophe? She had been the best of the best, hand-picked for this historic voyage by the finest minds of her generation. And now, she was adrift in the cosmos, her ship crippled and her chances of survival dwindling with each passing moment. "Lieutenant?" Argus's voice cut through the haze of Maya's spiraling thoughts, dragging her back to the present with a visceral jolt. "Yes, Argus," she managed, her voice barely more than a whisper. "I am detecting a faint energy signature, unlike anything in our databases," the AI continued, its synthetic tones tinged with a note of curiosity that seemed almost human. "It appears to be emanating from within the nebula itself, approximately 3,000 kilometers off our current heading." Maya blinked, her mind struggling to process the information. An energy signature? Out here, in the heart of this cosmic void. "Can you identify its nature, its origin?" she asked, her voice steadier now as her training reasserted itself. "Negative," Argus responded. "The signature is highly attenuated and appears to be heavily distorted by the nebula's electromagnetic interference. However, its coherence and structured pattern suggest an artificial origin." Maya felt her breath catch in her throat. "Artificial? Out here, in the depths of this uncharted realm?" A glimmer of hope began to kindle within her, faint but insistent. Could it be another ship, another crew, adrift like them but with the means to aid their escape from this cosmic purgatory? Or, a darker voice whispered from the depths of her mind, could it be something else entirely? Something beyond the scope of human understanding, a harbinger of the unknown that had drawn them into this realm beyond the veil of reality. Either way, Maya knew that she had no choice but to investigate. It was their only lead, their sole lifeline in the face of certain oblivion. "Plot a course, Argus," she said, her voice firm and resolute. "We're going to find the source of that signature, no matter what it takes." As she maneuvered herself back towards the airlock, Maya couldn't help but steal one last glance at the swirling nebula that surrounded them. Its ethereal beauty had taken on a different hue, one tinged with the promise of answers, or perhaps the unveiling of mysteries far more profound than she could ever have imagined. Either way, she knew that their journey had only just begun. The cosmos, it seemed, had other plans in store for the crew of the Odyssey. And Maya Jensen was determined to unravel those secrets, no matter where they might lead. The Odyssey's thrusters flared intermittently, their feeble bursts of acceleration doing little to propel the crippled vessel through the viscous depths of the nebula. Maya gripped the edge of the control console, her knuckles whitening as she fought to maintain her balance against the unpredictable eddies and currents that buffeted the ship. "Status report, Argus," she said, her voice strained against the constant thrum of alarms and warning klaxons that had become the bridge's grim symphony. "Our remaining thruster capacity is at 12% and falling rapidly, Lieutenant," the AI responded, its synthetic tones laced with bursts of static that seemed to punctuate the urgency of their situation. "At our current rate of power expenditure, we will be adrift within the hour." Maya's jaw clenched, her mind racing to formulate a plan, any plan, that might avert their seemingly inevitable fate. But with each passing moment, the prospects grew dimmer, the celestial expanse beyond the view screen seeming to mock her with its infinite, uncaring vastness. "And the energy signature?" she asked, her voice little more than a hoarse rasp. "Any luck pinpointing its origin?" "Negative," Argus replied, its words underscored by a faint, almost imperceptible note of frustration, uncertainty. It was a subtle nuance that Maya couldn't quite place, but one that sent a shiver down her spine nonetheless. "The nebula's electromagnetic interference continues to distort and attenuate the signal. At our current trajectory, we will pass within 500 kilometers of the projected source coordinates, but I cannot guarantee a visual acquisition." Maya swallowed hard, her throat burning with the stale, recycled air that had become their lifeline. 500 kilometers. In the vast, unforgiving expanse of space, that might as well have been a cosmic gulf. An insurmountable chasm that separated them from their last, fleeting hope of salvation. But what choice did they have? The Odyssey's reserves were all but depleted, her systems failing one by one as the relentless strain of their journey took its toll. Without that energy signature, that tantalizing promise of something, anything out there amidst the nebula's swirling depths, they were doomed to drift until their air ran out, their atoms scattered to the cosmic winds like so much stardust. "Keep us on course, Argus," she said at last, her voice hardening with determination. "We'll make a final burn and get as close to those coordinates as we can. If there's even a chance." Her words trailed off, but the unspoken sentiment hung heavy in the air. If there was even a chance, no matter how infinitesimal, they had to take it, for the alternative was too bleak, too final to even contemplate. "Understood, Lieutenant." Argus's acknowledgement was clipped, professional, but Maya couldn't shake the sensation that the AI was grappling with its own existential dread, its own silent reckoning with the precariousness of their situation. Could an artificial intelligence truly comprehend the concept of mortality? Maya had often pondered the philosophical implications of Argus's burgeoning sentience, but now, in the face of their shared oblivion, such musings seemed almost trivial. Because in that moment, as the Odyssey's thrusters roared to life one final time, propelling them towards the enigmatic energy signature that beckoned from the heart of the nebula, Maya realized a fundamental truth. They were both explorers, united in their quest to unravel the mysteries of the cosmos, no matter the cost. And if this voyage was to be their last, then so be it. At least they would meet their end together, defiant until the bitter end against the uncaring vastness of the void. The minutes bled into hours as the Odyssey pressed onward, her systems groaning in protest with each feeble burst of thrust. Maya found herself mesmerized by the ever-shifting tapestry of the nebula, its incandescent clouds seeming to undulate and pulse in tune with the distant thrum of Argus's laboring processors. It was a bizarre, almost hypnotic symphony, one that lulled her into a state of detached tranquility even as the specter of oblivion loomed ever closer. She had made her peace, accepted that this journey might well be her last, and in that acceptance she found an odd sort of serenity, At least, she mused, her atoms would become one with the cosmos she had devoted her life to exploring. A fitting end for a voyager of the stars. "Lieutenant," Argus's voice snapped Maya from her reverie, her head whipping around to face the viewscreen with a renewed sense of urgency. "What is it, Argus?" she asked, her heart pounding against her ribs. "Have you located the source of the energy signature?" "Negative," the AI responded, its synthetic tones laced with a peculiar undercurrent that Maya couldn't quite place. "However, I am detecting something else. An anomaly, unlike anything in our records." Maya felt her breath catch in her throat as the viewscreen flickered, the image resolving into a sight that defied comprehension. There, amidst the swirling depths of the nebula, hung a structure. A vast geometric lattice that seemed to bend and warp the very fabric of space around it, its intricately woven strands pulsing with an inner radiance that outshone even the brilliant nebula clouds. It was a sight at once mesmerizing and deeply unsettling, a construct so alien, so utterly at odds with the natural order of the cosmos that Maya found herself questioning the very nature of her reality. "What is that?" she breathed, her voice little more than a hushed whisper. "I do not know, Lieutenant," Argus replied, its usual calm cadence betraying a note of awe, wonder. "But it appears to be the source of the energy signature we have been tracking. And if my readings are accurate, it is utterly immense, easily dwarfing the largest megastructures in our databases." Maya's mind reeled as she took in the sheer, incomprehensible scale of the construct before them. Larger than any megastructure. Impossible. Such a thing couldn't exist, not without violating the fundamental laws of physics as she understood them. And yet, there it hung. A silent witness to the unfathomable mysteries that lay beyond the boundaries of human knowledge. A monument to the infinite potential of the universe, and all its secrets, yet unveiled. "Argus," Maya said, her voice steadier now as her training reasserted itself. "Plot a course to bring us within visual range. I want to get a closer look at whatever that thing is." "Inadvisable, Lieutenant," the AI responded, its words tinged with a rare note of caution. "Our remaining power reserves are critically low. Any significant course adjustment at this point could deplete our systems entirely, leaving us adrift and without life support." Maya's jaw clenched, her gaze fixed on the enigmatic construct that seemed to beckon to her from across the celestial void. She knew the risks, understood the potential consequences of her next decision. But in that moment, her innate drive for exploration, that unquenchable thirst for knowledge that had propelled her across the vast expanses of the cosmos, burned brighter than ever before. This was her chance, perhaps her last chance, to unravel a mystery that transcended the boundaries of human understanding. A discovery that could forever alter the course of their species, shed light on the deepest secrets of the universe itself. And she would be damned if she let it slip through her fingers without so much as a closer look.
"Do it, Argus," she said, her voice ringing with a conviction that brooked no argument. "Initiate the course correction. We're going to take a look at that thing, up close and personal."
For a beat, there was silence, as though the AI were weighing the gravity of her command against the cold calculus of logic and self-preservation. Then, with a faint electronic crackle that might have been a synthetic sigh, Argus responded, "Acknowledged, Lieutenant. Initiating course correction now. Brace for acceleration." As the Odyssey's thrusters flared to life once more, propelling them ever deeper into the unknown, Maya couldn't help but feel a strange sense of exhilaration mingled with dread. She was venturing into territory far beyond the boundaries of human knowledge, gambling everything on the promise of an answer to the universe's greatest enigmas. And whether that answer brought salvation or oblivion, she knew, in that moment, that her life's journey had been worth it. For she was an explorer, a voyager of the stars, and the cosmos, in all its terrible beauty, belonged to her. The Odyssey drifted ever closer to the vast geometric lattice, its thrusters little more than a feeble sputter against the eddies and currents that buffeted the ship. Maya found herself holding her breath, her eyes wide with a mixture of awe and trepidation as the enigmatic structure loomed larger with every passing moment. "Argus," she said, her voice hushed, as though afraid to disturb the eerie silence that had fallen over the bridge. "I need details. What are we looking at here?" There was a pause, a faint electronic hum as the AI processed its sensor data, before Argus responded. "The structure appears to be composed of an unknown, highly resilient alloy, unlike anything in our databases," the AI said, its synthetic tones laced with a note of wonder that Maya had never heard before. "Its geometric configuration is unlike any natural formation, suggesting an artificial origin of immense complexity." Maya nodded, her gaze transfixed by the lattice's intricately woven strands, their pulsing radiance casting the bridge in an otherworldly glow. Even from this distance, she could sense the sheer, staggering scale of the construct, its dimensions defying comprehension. "Any idea what its purpose might be?" she asked, her voice little more than a whisper. "Or who, or what might have built it?" "Negative, Lieutenant," Argus replied, its words punctuated by a burst of static that seemed to underscore the profundity of their discovery. "The level of technology required to construct something of this magnitude is far beyond anything our civilization has ever achieved. We are quite literally in uncharted territory." A heavy silence fell over the bridge, broken only by the distant groans of the Odyssey's overtaxed systems and the ever-present thrum of the nebula that surrounded them. Maya found herself grappling with a maelstrom of emotions, awe, curiosity, and perhaps most potent of all, a sense of profound humility in the face of this cosmic enigma. They were but motes of dust, fragile and fleeting, adrift in a universe that harbored wonders and mysteries beyond their wildest imaginings. And yet, here they were, the first humans to bear witness to this monumental construct, this silent testament to the unfathomable potential that lay waiting amidst the vast expanses of the cosmos. "Lieutenant?" Argus's voice broke through Maya's reverie, snapping her back to the present with a start. "Yes, Argus," she replied, her voice thick with barely contained wonder. "I am detecting a faint energy fluctuation emanating from the structure's central nexus," the AI continued, its words measured and precise. "It appears to be a coded transmission of some kind." Maya felt her breath catch in her throat, her heart pounding against her ribs with a sudden, renewed sense of urgency. "A transmission?" she echoed, her mind racing to process the implications. "You mean a signal? From whatever built this thing?" "That is one possible interpretation, yes," Argus replied. "However, the encoding is highly complex, unlike anything in our databases. It will take time to properly analyze and attempt to decipher its contents." Maya nodded, her gaze fixed on the lattice's central nexus, its pulsing radiance seeming to beckon to her with a silent, cosmic summons. "Do it, Argus," she said, her voice hardening with determination. "Devote all available processing power to decrypting that transmission. If there's even a chance it might shed light on, well, any of this, we have to take it." "Understood, Lieutenant." As Argus set to work, Maya found herself adrift in a sea of conflicting emotions. Excitement, trepidation, a sense of profound humility in the face of a discovery that transcended the boundaries of human understanding. They were explorers, voyagers of the stars, sworn to push the limits of human knowledge and confront the unknown with unwavering resolve. And yet Maya couldn't shake the feeling that they had stumbled upon something far greater than they could ever have imagined. A cosmic riddle that might hold the key to unlocking the universe's deepest secrets. Or, perhaps, something more profound still. A revelation that would forever alter the course of human destiny, shattering their preconceptions about their place in the grand tapestry of existence. The minutes bled into hours as the Odyssey drifted ever closer to the lattice, its systems groaning in protest with each feeble burst of thruster fire. Maya found herself mesmerized by the construct's shifting, kaleidoscopic patterns, her mind grappling with the sheer, incomprehensible scale of the undertaking that must have gone into its creation. Whoever, or whatever, had built this enigmatic edifice possessed technology that dwarfed even the most audacious dreams of human innovation. It was a humbling realization, one that forced Maya to confront the unsettling truth that for all their vaunted accomplishments, for all their centuries of scientific progress, humanity was still but a fledgling species, taking its first tentative steps into the vast expanse of the cosmos. "Lieutenant." Argus's voice cut through the silence like a blade, its synthetic tones laced with a rare note of urgency that sent a shiver down Maya's spine. "What is it, Argus?" she asked, her heart pounding in her ears. "I have made progress in decrypting the transmission," the AI responded, its words seeming to reverberate with implications that Maya could scarcely begin to fathom. "And you were correct in your initial hypothesis. The signal does indeed appear to be of artificial origin, a coded burst of data transmitted on a highly attenuated frequency band." Maya felt her breath catch in her throat, her mind racing to process the enormity of what Argus was implying. "You mean, it's a message?" she breathed, her voice little more than a hushed whisper. "From whoever, or whatever, built that lattice?" "Affirmative," Argus replied, its synthetic tones tinged with a note of excitement, wonder. It was a subtle inflection that Maya had never detected before, one that sent a shiver of equal parts exhilaration and dread coursing through her veins. "Well?" she pressed, her grip tightening on the edge of the console. "What does it say, Argus? What's the message?" There was a pause, a heartbeat of silence that seemed to stretch into eternity before the AI responded. "The message is a greeting, of sorts," Argus said, its words measured and precise. "A programmed response triggered by our approach, designed to establish first contact with any intelligent species that ventures within its range." Maya felt as though the deck had dropped out from beneath her feet, her mind reeling from the enormity of Argus's revelation. First contact? With an alien civilization? It was a notion that had long been the subject of human speculation and fanciful imaginings, but to have it manifest before her, to be the first to receive such a cosmic summons, it was almost too much to comprehend. "Play the message, Argus," she managed, her voice steadier than she felt. "Let's hear what our extraterrestrial friends have to say." There was a faint crackle of static, and then a voice unlike anything Maya had ever heard before filled the bridge. It was not a voice in the traditional sense, but rather a rich, multi-layered harmonic that seemed to reverberate through her very being, thrumming in her bones and setting her teeth on edge. And yet, despite its alien, almost mechanical cadence, Maya found herself understanding the message with a clarity that transcended mere words. "Greetings, children of the stars," the voice intoned, its harmonics seeming to shift and undulate like the nebula clouds that surrounded them. "We are the architects, shepherds of creation, and guardians of the cosmic tapestry." Maya felt her breath catch in her throat, her eyes widening as the implications of the message began to sink in. The architects, shepherds of creation. "For eons untold, we have labored to guide the evolution of intelligent life throughout the universe," the voice continued, its alien tones taking on a note of solemn reverence. "Seeding worlds with the spark of consciousness, nurturing fledgling civilizations, and ultimately testing their worthiness to join the cosmic communion." A chill ran down Maya's spine as she listened, her mind reeling from the profundity of the architect's proclamation. They were gardeners of life itself, cosmic cultivators who had shepherded the very emergence of consciousness across the vast expanses of the universe. And now, it seemed, they had deemed humanity worthy of, what? Initiation? Ascension? Maya's head swam with a dizzying array of possibilities, each more mind-bending than the last. "You have proven yourselves capable of breaching the veil that separates realms," the voice intoned, its harmonics seeming to swell and resonate with a cosmic weight that threatened to overwhelm Maya's senses, of transcending the boundaries of space-time itself. And in doing so, you have positioned yourselves at the precipice of a grand revelation, the unveiling of the cosmos's greatest mysteries, and your place within the grand tapestry of existence. Maya felt as though she could scarcely breathe, her heart pounding in her ears as the weight of the architect's message washed over her. They were offering knowledge, understanding, a glimpse of beyond the veil that had long shrouded the deepest secrets of the universe from human perception. It was an opportunity, no, a cosmic summons that transcended the wildest dreams of even the most audacious explorer. And yet, even as her mind reeled with the enormity of it all, a single burning question rose to the forefront of Maya's consciousness. "What must we do?" she found herself asking, her voice little more than a reverent whisper. "To prove ourselves worthy of this revelation?" For a long moment, there was silence, a silence that seemed to stretch and undulate like the fabric of space-time itself. Then, at last, the architect's voice responded, its harmonics resonating with a finality that sent a shiver down Maya's spine. "You must brave the Genesis path, children of the stars," the voice intoned, its alien tones taking on a note of solemn warning. "A journey that will test the limits of your resolve, your courage, and your very understanding of existence itself." Maya felt her breath catch in her throat, her mind racing to process the implications of the architect's summons. The Genesis path, a trial, a gauntlet of cosmic proportions that would push them to the very brink of their capabilities, and perhaps beyond. But even as trepidation coiled within her, a fiercer, more insistent flame began to burn in Maya's soul, the flame of sheer, unadulterated determination. For this was no mere test, no fleeting challenge to be overcome and cast aside. This was the culmination of humanity's cosmic journey, the final hurdle that stood between them and the ultimate unveiling of the universe's deepest truths. And Maya knew, with a certainty that transcended mere intellect or ambition, that she would stop at nothing to see that journey through to its end. "We accept your challenge, architects," she said, her voice ringing with a conviction that brooked no argument. "Show us this Genesis path. We will prove ourselves worthy of the revelation you promise, no matter the cost." For a heartbeat, there was silence. A silence that seemed to reverberate with the weight of Maya's proclamation. Then, as if in response, the lattice's central nexus began to pulse with renewed intensity, its radiance swelling until it bathed the Odyssey in a blinding incandescence. Maya felt the deck lurch beneath her feet, her grip tightening on the console as a shudder ran through the ship's battered hull. And then, as if swept up in a cosmic undertow, the Odyssey began to move, not of its own accord, but drawn inexorably forward by the lattice's pulsing radiance. "Argus!" Maya barked, her voice barely audible over the rising whine of the ship's overtaxed systems. "What's happening? Are we being pulled in?" "Affirmative, Lieutenant," the AI responded, its words laced with bursts of static that seemed to underscore the strain they were under. "The lattice has established some form of gravitic lock on our position. We are being drawn into its central nexus." Maya swallowed hard, her heart pounding against her ribs as the lattice's geometric strands seemed to envelop the Odyssey, their pulsing light casting strange, alien shadows across the bridge. This was it. The point of no return. The first step on a journey that would forever alter the course of human destiny, for better or for worse. As the darkness closed in around them, Maya found herself adrift in a sea of conflicting emotions: excitement, trepidation, a sense of profound humility, mingled with an unyielding determination to see this cosmic trial through to its end. For in that moment, she understood with a clarity that transcended mere intellect or ambition. They were no longer mere voyagers, scouts at the vanguard of human discovery. They were pilgrims, embarking on a journey that would either elevate them to new heights of cosmic understanding or condemn them to oblivion in the unfathomable depths of the unknown. And as the Odyssey was drawn inexorably forward, swallowed by the pulsing radiance of the lattice's heart, Maya knew that their destiny, and the fate of all humanity, now rested in the cosmos's unfathomable embrace. A suffocating, all-consuming void that pressed in from every side, smothering Maya's senses until she could no longer tell where the boundaries of her own being ended and the cosmic abyss began. For a moment, she wondered if this was the end, if the architect's promised Genesis path was nothing more than a cosmic snuffer, extinguishing the fragile flame of human existence before it could ever truly take its place among the stars. But then, like a flickering candle in the depths of a lightless cavern, a faint glow began to coalesce before her eyes. At first, Maya thought she might be hallucinating, her oxygen-starved brain conjuring phantasms to stave off the encroaching madness. But the light grew brighter, more insistent, until it bloomed into a kaleidoscope of colors and shapes that defied comprehension. Slowly, agonizingly, Maya's senses began to reassert themselves. The cold bite of the deck plates against her cheek, the acrid tang of scorched electronics stinging her nostrils, the distant wail of klaxons muffled as though heard from beneath the surface of a turbulent sea. She was alive. Against all odds, she had survived the lattice's inexorable pull, emerging, wherever this was. With a Herculean effort, Maya dragged herself upright, her limbs leaden and uncooperative. The bridge of the Odyssey was a scene of utter devastation. Panels and conduits torn asunder, sparks cascading from ruptured power relays. And yet, miraculously, the viewscreen still flickered with life, revealing a vista that stole the breath from Maya's lungs. They were no longer adrift within the nebula's swirling depths. Instead, the Odyssey seemed to hang suspended in a vast vaulted chamber, its curved walls stretching into the distance as far as the eye could see. Geometric patterns and arcane symbols pulsed and undulated across the chamber's surface, their shifting luminescence casting the bridge in an otherworldly radiance. Argus. Maya's voice was little more than a hoarse croak, her throat raw from the ordeal of their transition. "Where are we?" For a long, agonizing moment, there was no response. Then, like a flickering light in the depths of a tomb, the AI's voice crackled to life, distorted by static but undeniably present. "Our location is unknown, Lieutenant," Argus responded, its synthetic tones strained and warbled. "Sensor readings indicate that we have been transported elsewhere, beyond the confines of normal space-time." Maya blinked, her mind struggling to process the AI's words. Transported. Elsewhere. Beyond normal space-time. It was a notion that defied comprehension, a violation of the fundamental laws of physics as she understood them. And yet, the evidence was laid out before her, a cosmic tapestry woven from the very stuff of creation itself. "Do you mean—" She swallowed hard, her throat burning. "Are you saying we've entered another dimension, another plane of existence?" Another burst of static, accompanied by a flicker of the viewscreen. Maya tensed, fearing the worst, that the strain of their journey had finally proven too much for the Odyssey's battered systems. But then, Argus's voice cut through the chaos, clearer than before. "That is one possible interpretation, yes," the AI said, its synthetic tones laced with a rare note of uncertainty. "My sensors are detecting spatial and temporal anomalies, unlike anything in our records. We appear to have been drawn into a higher dimension, a realm that exists beyond the traditional boundaries of our universe. Maya's head swam, her mind reeling from the enormity of Argus's revelation. A higher dimension? A plane of existence that transcended the very fabric of space-time itself? It was a notion that stretched the limits of human comprehension, shattering their most fundamental understanding of the cosmos and their place within it. And yet, here they were, the first pioneers to breach the veil that separated realms, to venture into territory that had long been the exclusive province of theoretical physics and esoteric philosophical musings. "Lieutenant?" Argus's voice snapped Maya from her reverie, dragging her back to the present with a visceral jolt. "Yes, Argus," she replied, her voice thick with a mixture of awe and trepidation. "I am detecting a presence," the AI continued, its words laced with a note of uncertainty that sent a shiver down Maya's spine. "A vast, unfathomable intelligence permeating this realm. It appears to be aware of our arrival." Maya felt her breath catch in her throat, her heart pounding against her ribs with a sudden, renewed sense of urgency. A presence? An intelligence? Out here, in the depths of this cosmic void? She opened her mouth to respond, but before she could give voice to her thoughts, the chamber around them seemed to pulse and undulate, the geometric patterns shifting and flowing like liquid mercury. And then, a voice, unlike anything Maya had ever heard before, filled the bridge. It was not a voice in the traditional sense, but rather a rich, multi-layered harmonic that seemed to reverberate through her very being, thrumming in her bones and setting her teeth on edge. And yet, despite its alien, almost mechanical cadence, Maya found herself understanding its message with a clarity that transcended mere words. "Welcome, children of the stars," the voice intoned, its harmonics seeming to shift and undulate like the chamber's pulsing patterns. "You have braved the Genesis path and proven yourselves worthy of bearing witness to the greatest of cosmic revelations." Maya felt as though she could scarcely breathe, her heart pounding in her ears as the weight of the voice's proclamation washed over her. The greatest of cosmic revelations? The unveiling of the universe's deepest truths. This was it, the culmination of their journey, the promised reward for overcoming the architect's trial, for proving their species worthy of ascension to a higher plane of existence. "Who? What are you?" she managed, her voice little more than a reverent whisper. The chamber pulsed once more, and Maya could have sworn she sensed a note of amusement, of cosmic bemusement, woven through the harmonics of the disembodied voice. "We are the architects, shepherds of creation and cultivators of the cosmic tapestry," the voice intoned, its alien tones seeming to resonate from every direction at once. "For eons untold, we have guided the evolution of intelligent life throughout the multiverse, seeding worlds with the spark of consciousness and nurturing fledgling civilizations." Maya's mind reeled as she listened, her breath caught in her throat. The architects? Shepherds of creation itself? Cultivators of intelligent life across multiple universes? It was a notion so profound, so utterly at odds with everything she had ever known or believed, that she found herself grappling for purchase against the onslaught of revelations. "And now you stand before us, the first of your species to transcend the boundaries of your realm, and venture into the higher planes of existence," the voice continued, its harmonics swelling with a cosmic weight that threatened to overwhelm Maya's senses. "In doing so, you have proven yourselves worthy of the greatest gift we can bestow, the unveiling of the cosmos's truest nature, and your place within its grand tapestry." Maya felt as though the deck had dropped out from beneath her feet, her mind reeling from the enormity of the architect's proclamation. The unveiling of the cosmos's truest nature, their place within the grand tapestry of existence? It was an opportunity, no, a cosmic summons that transcended the wildest dreams of even the most audacious explorer. And yet, even as her heart raced with a sense of exhilaration and wonder, she couldn't help but feel a profound sense of humility, of reverence in the face of this unfathomable cosmic intelligence. What must we do? She found herself asking, her voice barely more than a whisper. To receive this revelation? The chamber seemed to pulse and undulate once more, and for a moment, Maya could have sworn she sensed a feeling of approval, satisfaction, emanating from the architect's disembodied presence. You need only open yourselves to the truth, children of the stars, the voice intoned, its harmonics taking on a note of solemn reverence. Cast aside your preconceptions, your limited understanding of existence, and embrace the cosmos in all its infinite majesty. As the voice spoke those words, Maya felt a strange, almost imperceptible shift within her very being, a sensation that she could only describe as a veil being lifted from her senses. Suddenly, her perception seemed to expand, unfurling like a cosmic blossom until she found herself adrift in a sea of incomprehensible vastness. Realities upon realities, dimensions within dimensions, stretching out into the infinite expanse of the multiverse itself. And at the heart of it all, a pulsing, radiant nexus of pure consciousness. The architects, shepherds, and cultivators of all that existed, all that ever could exist. Maya gasped, her mind reeling as she found herself adrift in a sea of cosmic knowledge, her understanding of the universe, of existence itself, expanding exponentially with each passing moment. She saw the birth of stars, the swirling of galaxies, the very fabric of space-time woven from the strands of consciousness that permeated every dimension, every plane of existence. And through it all, she sensed the architect's guiding hand, their unfathomable intelligence shaping and nurturing the tapestry of creation, cultivating the spark of sentience across countless worlds and realities. It was a revelation so profound, so utterly at odds with everything she had ever known or believed, that Maya felt as though her very being was being remade, forged anew in the fires of cosmic truth. And in that moment, as she hung suspended in the vastness of the architect's realm, she understood. She understood the true nature of existence, the grand tapestry that bound all realities together into a harmonious, ever-expanding whole. She understood her species' place within that tapestry, not as mere motes of dust adrift in the cosmic void, but as threads woven into the very fabric of creation itself, destined to take their rightful place among the cultivators and shepherds of the multiverse. And she understood, with a clarity that transcended mere intellect or ambition, that this was not the end of her journey, but merely the first step on a path that would lead her species to heights of understanding and enlightenment beyond their wildest imaginings. For in that moment, Maya Jensen was no longer merely an explorer, a voyager of the stars. She was a harbinger, a herald of humanity's ascension to the cosmic tapestry, and the universe, in all its infinite majesty, belonged to her. As the revelation washed over her, Maya felt a sense of profound peace, a cosmic serenity that threatened to overwhelm her senses. She had come so far, braved the unknown, and stared into the abyss itself, only to emerge on the other side reborn, remade in the image of the cosmos's truest nature. And as she drifted in that timeless expanse, basking in the radiant warmth of the architect's realm, she knew that her journey had only just begun. For now, armed with the knowledge of the multiverse's deepest truths, she would return to her people, a herald of their species' destiny. Together, they would take their rightful place among the cultivators and shepherds of creation, weaving their own threads into the grand tapestry of existence and ushering in a new era of cosmic enlightenment. It was a journey that would span eons, transcend the boundaries of space and time itself, and reshape the very nature of human existence. And Maya Jensen, once a mere explorer, now a harbinger of cosmic truth, would be there to guide her species every step of the way, until the universe, in all its infinite majesty, belonged to them all.